On their 7th anniversary, she planned the perfect surprise for her husband. But what she discovered instead at a hotel door shattered her world. How did heartbreak turn into hope, and betrayal into a life-changing lesson? Stay with me, because this story will keep you holding your breath until the very end. Before we begin this incredible story, make sure to subscribe and press the bell icon, so you never miss our powerful and life-changing stories. Asterisk, on 7th anniversary, I prepared a surprise for husband. But catch him checking into hotel with mistress. I woke up that morning with my heart full of excitement. 7 years of marriage, 7 years of love. And today I wanted to remind him how much he meant to me. I spent the entire day preparing a surprise dinner. The table was set with candles, soft music ready to play, and his favorite dishes waiting to be served. I even bought him a small gift, a watch engraved with the words, "Forever yours." As evening drew closer, I checked the time again and again, waiting for his call or his message, but my phone remained silent. Something inside me stirred. A quiet unease I tried to push away. I told myself he must be busy. Maybe he was planning something for me too. Still, the silence grew louder, pressing on my chest until I could not ignore it anymore. I called him once. No answer. I called again, still nothing. My hands trembled slightly as I grabbed my coat and stepped outside into the cool night air. The streets were busy, lights flickering, people laughing as they passed by, but inside me there was only an echo of worry. Then I saw his car, parked outside a hotel. My heart pounded so hard I thought the world could hear it. I froze, my breath shallow, my palms cold. I wanted to believe it was a coincidence, that maybe he was meeting a friend, maybe it was business, but then I saw him walking hand in hand with another woman. She was smiling, her head resting lightly on his shoulder, and he held her close as if she was the only one in his world. In that moment, the ground beneath me seemed to vanish, the sound of the city dulled, the glow of the lights blurred. All I could feel was the sharp sting in my chest. Like glass shattering inside me, the gift box slipped from my hands, landing on the pavement with a dull thud. The watch I bought for him lay inside, glistening under the streetlight, but now it felt like a cruel joke. Tears welled in my eyes, hot and relentless, yet I stood frozen, unable to move, unable to breathe. The man I loved, the man I trusted, the man I devoted my life to, was walking into that hotel with her, and I was left standing in the shadows, with nothing but my broken heart and the silence of my unanswered love. I stood there, hidden in the dark, watching the man I once believed was my forever slip away into a hotel with another woman. Every second felt like an eternity, each heartbeat echoing louder than the last. I wanted to scream, to run inside, to demand answers, but my legs refused to move, and my voice was lost somewhere deep inside my throat. I finally bent down, slowly picking up the small gift box from the pavement. The ribbon had loosened, the watch glimmering faintly, and I held it in my hands as if I were holding the pieces of my broken soul. I turned away, walking back through the crowded streets. Yet I felt utterly alone. Every laugh, every light, every sound around me felt like mockery. By the time I reached home, the dinner table I had so carefully set stood waiting in silence. The candles had melted halfway, casting long, flickering shadows across the room. I sat down on the chair, staring at the untouched food, and for the first time in years, I allowed myself to cry without holding back. Tears flowed down my face, soaking the tablecloth, and I felt the weight of betrayal crushing every part of me. Hours passed, the night grew quieter, yet my heart refused to rest. Somewhere between sobs, I whispered to myself, why am I not enough? That question echoed inside me, louder than any noise outside. But in that silence, another thought rose. Maybe this pain was not a punishment, maybe it was a beginning. Maybe it was a beginning. The thought lingered in my chest, fragile but real, like the first spark of light before dawn. I wiped my tears, though my hands trembled. I looked around the room, the flowers on the table, the empty chair across from me, the untouched plates. This was not the life I had promised myself, this was not the love I deserved. I rose from the chair slowly, my knees weak but my heart beating stronger with every passing second. I carried the gift box to my bedroom and placed it inside the drawer, not as a memory for him, but as a reminder for myself. A reminder that I was capable of giving love, even if he had not valued it. The night stretched long, but by morning I felt a strange calmness wrap around me. As if somewhere deep inside, a voice kept whispering, you will be fine. That day, I called in sick at work and walked into a small cafe near the park. The air smelled of fresh coffee and baked bread, and the warmth of the room touched me gently. I sat by the window, staring at the world moving on, while I sat with my broken pieces. And then, unexpectedly, a kind voice broke the silence. Are you all right? I looked up to see a woman, perhaps in her 50s, her eyes soft with understanding. I wanted to say yes, but the truth escaped me in a single tear that rolled down my cheek. Without hesitation, she sat beside me, placing a gentle hand over mine. There was no judgment, only kindness. In that moment, I realized strangers could sometimes hold more compassion than the ones who once vowed to love us. There was no judgment, only kindness, and that kindness broke something open inside me. For months, I had carried the weight of silence, hiding my pain as though it were a shameful secret, but her eyes told me it was safe to let it out. So I whispered the truth, how I had prepared a surprise for my husband, how I had seen him walk into that hotel with another woman, how the world had fallen apart in that single instant. Her hand tightened around mine. Steady and strong, my dear, she said softly. Sometimes life takes away what you thought you needed, only to prepare you for what you truly deserve. Her words were simple, but they cut through the fog in my heart. That morning, over coffee and gentle conversation, I realized something. I was not broken. I was hurt, and hurt could heal. I walked out of that cafe with a lighter step, carrying her words with me like a lantern in the dark. The days ahead were not easy. There were nights I still cried into my pillow. Mornings I stared at the empty chair across the table, but slowly, I began to rebuild. I joined a small art class, painting colors I had never dared to paint before. I started jogging in the park at sunrise, letting the crisp air wash away the heaviness inside me, and with each brushstroke, with each breath of morning air, I felt a little stronger. A little freer. A little freer. Each day became a quiet test of patience with myself. Some mornings I felt like I could conquer the world, other mornings I struggled just to get out of bed, but even in those moments, I reminded myself that healing is not a straight line. It is a journey of falling and standing, of breaking and mending. One evening, after my art class, I decided to take a different route home. The street was lined with little shops glowing in warm light, people laughing, children running past with ice creams in their hands. For the first time in a long while, I felt part of life again, not just an observer from behind glass. I stepped into a bookstore that smelled of paper and ink, a smell that felt like comfort. As I wandered between the shelves, a book slipped from the top and landed near my feet. I picked it up, brushing the dust from its cover. A voice from behind said, "That one is my favorite." I turned, and there stood a man with gentle eyes, holding a small stack of books. His smile was kind, not forced, and his presence felt strangely familiar, as if life had sent him at the right moment. We began to talk, first about books, then about life. I did not tell him my whole story. Not yet, but for the first time, I laughed out a genuine laugh that rose from my chest and surprised me. It was small, but it was real, and in that laughter, I discovered a new truth. My life was not over. It was simply beginning again. Over the weeks, our conversations in that little bookstore turned into walks in the park, shared cups of tea, and moments of laughter I once thought I had lost forever. He never rushed me. He never demanded my story before I was ready to share it. Instead, he offered patience, respect, and kindness, things that reminded me that love is not about possession, but about presence. I learned that healing does not mean forgetting the pain, but transforming it into strength. The betrayal I once thought had destroyed me had actually freed me to discover myself again, freed me to open my heart to people who valued it. On the anniversary of that painful night, I no longer sat by an empty table with untouched food. Instead, I stood on my balcony, watching the sunrise, my heart light and full of gratitude for the lesson life had given me, even through heartbreak. And in that quiet moment, I understood the truth. Happiness does not always come from the people we expect to give it. Sometimes it comes from the courage to walk away, the strength to heal, and the kindness of souls who enter our path when we least expect them. The moral is simple yet powerful. You are stronger than your pain, you are worthy of real love, and you are never alone. Thank you for listening to this Heartfelt Tales. If it touched your heart, share it, leave a comment below, and remind someone today, you are never alone.